Alright, so as promised, I will be reacting to the Re Zero Wrath If story done by Echidnut. The last video did quite well, and a week has gone by, so it is time for the next If story. I've been hearing a lot of good things about this one. Some people are saying this is their favorite If story. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into this video. And if you're new here, consider subscribing after watching the video, or if you want to subscribe even now, I'd greatly appreciate it. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Alright, we are in Oboreru. That seems like it's the name of this story. Oboreru, huh?
Re Zero is full of moments where the story could have easily diverged onto a completely different path.
Alright.
And these moments are indicated by Subaru's ideologies being tested. In the end, Subaru always seems to overcome his mental conflict and eventually becomes an amazing character.
Yep, exactly.
The
Wrath, huh?
story.
Quickly before we jump in, I'm gonna set out my prediction for when Subaru turned to the Wrath path. If I'd have to guess, it would probably be maybe during the royal selection after he had the fight with Amelia. Nah, that was Sloth, right? I feel like that would low-key be Wrath though, because Subaru looks like a lunatic. Oh, Wrath would actually be when he was trying to get Cruz to join him for the fight against the White Whale, and he looks like a murderer. She's like, what's that glint in your eye? I think that was Wrath. So basically Cruz says no, and he goes down the path. But that's kind of Sloth. I feel like, screw it, I give up on my prediction. But I feel like that would be Wrath, because that's when Subaru was like the most mentally unstable. But we'll see.
Like 1 or 2 spoilers, but I've decided to make them as vague as humanly possible because I wanted this video to be safe.
Okay, good. Season 2 spoilers, we're good.
This means that I will be skipping and glossing over certain details that pertain to spoilers. So I'd like to remind everyone that the only way to get the full experience of this story would be to actually read it yourself. That being said, before we start this narration, let's quickly discuss where exactly Subaru faces the ideology.
Let's see if I was somewhat right.
As I said before, these potential points of divergence are all indicated.
Oh, this is the order. Okay. So we're doing Sloth next. And I think that's where we stop, because I think Greed will be Arc 5 spoilers. I think.
The ending of episode 7 is one of these times where Subaru is being tested. This was the episode where Rem dies from the shaman's curse and
oh, really?
For being all suspicious.
This was Wrath?
Outside and prepares to kill him, but Beatrice interferes and offers to protect Subaru. This is the moment where
everyone else
has a choice to make.
Interesting. Wait, it seemed like everyone around him was angry, but he wasn't really angry. He was kind of shook back then. Surprised that this is where they're claiming his path for Wrath was. This is interesting.
Beatrice's assistance and engage Ram in combat.
That's Wrath? How is that Wrath? Yo, I'm already confused, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Wait. Sorry to pause this for the 1000th time, but how was getting Beatrice to protect him Wrath? That doesn't even make any sense. What? Preserving your life is Wrath? Nah, that's weird. They gotta definitely explain that.
Off the cliff because he was patient enough to keep dying over and over until everyone.
I understand the patience. I don't understand how fighting Ram was Wrath.
This doesn't happen. Subaru allows himself to be influenced by wrath instead of patience, and it changes the Re Zero story entirely. This is
so he just kills Ram?
Wrath if story. Instead of jumping off the cliff, Subaru accepts Beatrice's offer to protect him from Ram. Subaru escapes into the forest, but eventually Ram catches up with him. The story begins with Subaru's body flailing around on the floor as Ram is choking him to death.
Oh God.
To fight back, Subaru's
why is this so weird?
His death when suddenly
Ew.
Ram lets go of his neck. Coughing up blood, Subaru realizes that Ram has collapsed from exhaustion. You see, while she was chasing him through the forest, she got attacked by countless demon dogs along the way. The amount of wounds on her body would have normally killed her, but her hatred for Subaru was strong enough to keep her alive.
Wait, what? So Subaru didn't even kill her?
Notes that even with her body covered in cuts and gashes, Ram was still very beautiful, but that didn't matter right now. She was trying to kill him and shoot to the air.
Okay, that's when you go too far. That's just extra. Wait, but when does Beatrice come into play? I thought this was the route where he chooses Beatrice's protection. Why is he killing Ram himself with his own hands? And it says she was attacked by the dog, so what role did Beatrice even play in this route? Something's weird here. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Where's Beatrice? Alright, this one's a little iffy, I'm not even gonna lie.
Takes place 2 years in the future, so before I get to that, let me go ahead and explain everything that's happened since then. Subaru continued spiraling out of control down the path of sin and eventually ended up founding a criminal organization called Pleiades. In just 2
Oh
years,
shit.
Pleiades had
Pleiades? That's kinda sick. The Seven Sisters, an open star cluster, middle age. Interesting.
throughout the Re Zero
Yo, so Subaru makes his own Akatsuki.
as a villain had spread around as well. Working
That's
within
kinda sick.
Subaru's organization are a number of successful mercenaries, as well as 2 of the strongest characters in all of Re Zero. Subaru typically
Oh,
keeps
shit.
those 2 close at his side for protection, because on his own he's still pretty weak. But as their boss, he's ordered them to murder countless victims, often without reason.
That's
They
kinda
currently
sick.
reside at the Pleiades headquarters
Oh
in
shit, my man got the whole base too. That's kinda sick, I'm not even gonna lie. I'd like to see this animated as like an OVA, that would actually be pretty cool. Damn, he got the base, he got the guards. Man's the leader of the Akatsuki now. This is crazy.
Pandemonium. Most of Subaru's
Pandemonium?
days are spent in Pandemonium's reception hall, sitting atop a luxurious throne, but occasionally he would leave Pandemonium if he had some business to take care of elsewhere.
That's kinda
The
badass.
next scene in Oboreru takes place at the Roswaal Mansion. Because Roswaal no longer had Ram and Rem, he ended up hiring someone named Frederica. Frederica was briefly shown in Season 1 for about half a second, so if you don't know who Frederica is, she's a demi-human who used to be another one of Roswaal's maids back in the day. Anyway, Frederica was rehired as a maid to make up for the loss of Ram and Rem, but despite that, the mansion was never really the same since the day of their passing. Ram and Rem were extremely important to Roswaal. Ram in particular was very special to him. Without her, Roswaal himself was incomplete. He felt as if his own life had lost all purpose. Many
Interesting.
times Frederica tried to cheer him up, but nothing could
So
change his
Roswell
heart.
he always had feelings for Ram. From the very beginning, this pretty much states that. As much as he tried to act like he didn't.
Field of despair. Puck, on the other hand, was more angry than he was depressed. He believed that the mansion was no longer a safe environment for Amelia, and he was upset with Roswaal for allowing that to happen. Puck is currently arguing with Frederica in the hallway,
shit.
and he starts to badmouth
You don't want to
Roswaal.
get Puck angry because when you get Puck angry, the whole world has to pay for it. That's the problem.
Frederica greatly because as a maid, she can't allow someone to insult the owner of the mansion. So in response, Frederica decides to get aggressive with Puck.
What an
Obviously,
idiot.
This doesn't end well for Frederica. Before she can even make her first move, Puck turns her into an ice sculpture.
She's
Roswaal
so
finds
stupid,
Frederica still
bro.
alive, trying to resist the cold and feels
You're not
obligated
gonna
to
beat
save
no
her.
Puck.
He starts charging up a powerful spell when suddenly he just barely manages to dodge the sword slash that was aimed for his neck.
Oh shit.
It's carried out with incredible speed, so
It's probably the guys,
to evade it was remarkable.
It's the guys with Subaru. It's the guy, the samurai guy with the blue hair. Celsius or whatever his name was. Already forgot his name. Frick. Cecilius.
The voice coming from behind Roswaal sounded surprised by the impressive dodge. The assassin was a blue-haired young man with 2 swords.
Damn, man's kind of drippy. I'm not even gonna lie.
And the other
Where the hell is this guy in the main story?
For just a second,
Where's this man
Cecilus is a
at?
character that hasn't appeared in the main story other than his name.
Cecilus.
But a lot of people suspect that he might show up in a future arc someday. So
Oh, so his name was mentioned, but he hasn't showed up.
technically, information about Cecilus would not be considered a
Cecilus.
spoiler as of right now, but in a couple years it could be, I guess. So I hope none of you are that sensitive to potential spoilers, but I wanted to put a warning out just in case. And
Fair
just for
enough.
reference, the very earliest this character could ever possibly show up in the main story would be around season 5. So anyway,
Oh,
Cecilus
shit.
is nicknamed Blue Lightning. He's the highest ranking god general of the Wallachia Empire, which
Oh, the Wallachia Empire. Oh shit. He's the highest ranking member? That's crazy. They just dropped a bomb on us.
Blue
It's
Lightning,
actually insane.
highest ranking god general of the
God general. So it seems like Wallachia has 9 powerful generals. Basically like if we're talking about Bleach, The court guard captains. Basically that, but for the Wallachia Empire.
South of Lagunica.
And
I
this
won't
guy's
go
the
too
strongest
in
one.
depth, but he's one of the strongest characters in Re Zero, and he attacks
Clearly.
with lightning speed, so that's why it was so impressive for Roswaal to dodge one of his attacks. Anyway, back to the
Shit.
story. Roswaal recognizes the young man, and the two of them exchange dialogue, but as they're talking, Roswaal realizes his left arm had been cut off in the attack. Without
Oh
hesitation,
shit.
he cups the wound with his remaining hand, cauterizing it with a small burst of fire magic. Despite the intense pain, Roswaal's dialogue continues. He suspects that Cecilus must be leading the Wallachian army to invade Lagunica, but
What the? I did not expect Wallachia Empire to violate the treaty. Oh
Cecilus
yeah, I'm no
quickly
longer working
explaining
for them.
that he's actually working for someone else now. Knowing he's about
True.
to kill Roswaal anyway,
But still, the
Cecilus
Wallachia Empire is low key. The low key feels like they're waiting for their moment to attack. Like, even if we go back to the third extra story, the way the Wallachia Empire started like attacking, they were hunting the sword saint. They're onto something, man. They're trying to cause a little trouble. The Wallachia Empire, we can't be trusting them.
standing in the
So
doorway
this is our first time seeing Beatrice now.
His face looked a lot scarier than she remembered, and his manner of speaking now had a blank tone to it. The two of them talk for a bit, and Subaru thanks her for protecting him that day.
Oh, so she did protect
At
him.
the time, Subaru was certain he would die, but because Beatrice didn't give
Oh,
him
okay, so she protected him and then he ran off. Oh, okay.
able to survive. Subaru thanks her again, but also asks her the question, back then, why didn't you kill me? Beatrice didn't answer, but silently came to a realization. Subaru understood it too, as he says to her, "You and I, Beatrice, we are the same." Inside Beatrice and inside Subaru, there was a disease called despair quietly nesting. While the two of them were talking, a third person
Damn.
in the room suddenly appeared out of nowhere. It was the wondrous technique of a ninja, being able to hide in the shadows without anyone noticing. He was a shabby-looking wolf human with a pipe hanging out of his mouth. It was
This
clear
man
he
looking
was
kinda
extremely
sick, too.
Powerful and far, far stronger than the frightened Beatrice was. Hannibal, bring me a sword. Subaru orders the wolf human.
Far stronger than
He takes the
Beatrice?
blade and walks up to Beatrice with a smile on his face. He tells her, "With all those colors you wear, you are very pretty, you know."
What the?
Beatrice stares at Subaru as she starts to cry. Trembling and shaking, she asks him a strange question that this version of Subaru will never know the meaning of. Perhaps if his life had turned out differently, he would have understood what she was asking him, but regardless, he still tried his best to give her a comforting answer.
What
Then,
the?
as her last set of tears hit the floor, Subaru kills Beatrice with his blade.
Why'd he kill Beatrice? For what? So weird.
So for anyone
So
who
he's just
didn't
killing
understand
people for
what
no
just
reason?
happened, the Roswaal Mansion was no longer a safe environment for Amelia to stay in, so Puck and Subaru formed a plan to kill everyone in the mansion and then bring it
Puck and
to
Subaru?
Subaru's castle. The two new characters.
Yo,
Cecilus
Puck's a
and
snake. Puck's kinda a snake, I'm not even gonna lie. Puck's a snake, man. This guy will do whatever. I get he cares about Amelia, but this man will snake anyone to keep Amelia safe. It's kinda dirty, man. I can't. Puck?
Subaru's most trusted
Puck,
allies,
man.
so he
This
ordered
guy's weird.
Cecilus to kill Roswaal and told Hannibal to help him with Beatrice. Everything went according to plan, and they rescued Amelia, and on their way back, they actually took Frederica with them as well because they needed a maid. Pandemonium was a large building, so there was a lot of work for Frederica to do as the new maid. Not only did she have to cook and clean for everyone, but she also had to clean up the messes Subaru would make. For
Ew.
example, an elderly merchant arrived at Pandemonium to discuss business with the organization, and he made sure to be very polite and delicate with his words, taking care not to offend Subaru. In the end, Subaru appeared to be satisfied with the meeting, but as the merchant was on his way out, Subaru flipped a coin.
Wow.
Tails, he said, and that was the last thing the old man heard before he was decapitated by Hannibal.
Wow. This man out here just flipping coins to the side of people live or die? Wow.
Frederica was disgusted by Subaru's actions, and she vocalized her frustration as she disposed of the man's corpse, but Subaru wasn't happy with Frederica's disrespect. So later that night, when she brought him his dinner, he flipped another coin as she was leaving.
Oh
"Tails,"
shit.
he said, Don't worry, Frederica. Your family is safe for now. Frederica left the room with tears in her eyes, wondering why her life had ended up like this.
Oh shit.
Subaru's behavior eventually led to his nickname, the Purge King.
The Purge King.
Truly
So
was
edgy.
the physical embodiment of fear itself. Just being in the same room as him was enough to make someone physically sick. Oftentimes, he would let a person's fate be decided by the result of a coin flip.
Oh my
Heads
god.
they live, tails they die. The slightest annoyance, even by one of his own men, would sometimes be a death sentence. Even his most trusted allies, Hannibal and Cecilus, would occasionally have their lives threatened.
Oh
In
shit.
the deepest part of the building, there was a heavily guarded room that housed Amelia, whom everyone referred to as the Princess. Amelia wasn't allowed to leave the room, and she had no visitors.
Damn, this guy just out here capturing Amelia, locking her up like an animal. What did Puck have to say about this? Where's Puck?
Therapeutic lap pillow, which was about once every 10
Thought he
days.
made a deal with
Stressed
Puck.
about his job, sobbing into Amelia's lap was the only thing that could calm Subaru down. But when Subaru wasn't paying her a visit, she was all alone with Puck for 24 hours a day, and she wasn't sure if she was
Oh, she's with Puck.
that. Her previous life was filled with humiliation and helplessness. She dropped out of the royal selection after Ram and Rem died and abandoned her dream of creating
Wow.
extermination. Amelia had become depressed living at the Roswaal Mansion.
Oh my god.
Until Subaru rescued her and brought her back to live with him at Pandemonium. Now she spends her life locked in a cage, with plenty of time to wonder if her new life is preferable to her old one. Now remember,
Damn.
Roswaal was a pretty important person in Lagunica, so news of his death spread all over the place once it went public, and it became clear to everyone that the Purge King was the one responsible for it.
Oh my
So
god.
The Kingdom of Lagunica decides to...
Here he comes. The man himself. In a bit, we're gonna see the GOAT, the legend, the strongest character in Re Zero. A man on a tier of his own. Reinhard. That's what I'm guessing.
Knights to Pandemonium and finally put an end to the Pleiades organization. In the middle of Pandemonium's reception hall, a blinding light swallowed the entire room and then shattered. 18 of Subaru's men were vaporized by the attack, and the structure of the building began to collapse.
Reinhard.
This was but a single blow from
I called it.
Sword Saint himself.
Of course.
Lagunica was desperate to subjugate the villainous Purge King, so they had no choice but to send Reinhardt Van Estrella to complete the task. As the dust clears, Reinhardt is surprised to find Subaru unharmed, sitting on his throne with Hannibal and Cecilus at his side.
Oh
I saw
shit.
your attack once before at the loot house, so I've had plenty of time to prepare for it, Subaru says with a smile. Reinhardt hadn't realized until now that the Purge King was Natsuki Subaru, so this was a shock to him.
Oh
Already
shit.
bored of Reinhardt, Subaru decides to let Cecilus deal with him on his own. Hannibal grabs Subaru, and the two of them escape into the shadows together. Left alone in the room with Cecilus, Reinhardt tries to reason with him. In the past, Reinhardt has beaten Cecilus once before, but Cecilus didn't care. Beating Reinhardt was his only desire, and today he was ready to fight him to the death. He
Damn,
reaches down
son.
to his waist and draws both of his katanas, naming them as he does so.
Oh shit, here we go.
And the Dream Sword, two of Re Zero's 10 legendary swords.
Oh, two of Re Zero's 10 legendary swords. So there's some interesting lore mixed into this. The Fiend Sword, the Dream Sword, the Cursed Sword, the Beloved Sword, the Spirit Sword, the Life Sword, the Shadow Sword, the Blood Sword, the Dragon Sword, and the Yang Sword. Interesting. So we know the Sword Saints have the Dragon Sword. We haven't seen the Yang Sword or any of these other ones here. Sounds pretty cool. Interesting.
Power. In response, Reinhardt does the same with his own weapon, Reed, the Dragon Sword. Hearing the sound of that glowing white sword being drawn, there was no
Ooh.
mistake that it
So it's an opponent worthy of Reinhardt's sword. That's how powerful this guy is.
was in fact the legendary Dragon Sword carried by the Sword Saint, only to be unsheathed when faced with a worthy opponent.
Oh shit.
Obviously, the sword considered Cecilus a worthy opponent. Cecilus gives his name, and the battle commences.
I think this is Re Zero Extra 4 actually. I need to read that, man. After I finish EX1, I'm gonna go to EX4. This one looks good.
Amelia could feel the tremors echoing inside her room. This is the end, Leah. Reinhardt is here to kill Subaru, Puck tells her. The Earthquakes from the epic battle had broken Amelia's door, allowing her to leave her room for the first time ever. She desperately runs through the castle searching for Subaru, but after a while she runs into Reinhardt instead.
Damn, Reinhardt's already done with him? Reinhardt killed him that fast? That's crazy.
His appearance. Reinhardt looked incredibly weakened.
Oh.
His entire body was covered in dripping wounds.
Oh.
Equally as surprising, he was also holding the dragon sword in his hand. Reinhardt didn't have much time to talk, so he quickly urges Amelia to get outside as they had a dragon carriage waiting to bring her back to Lagunica.
Damn.
Amelia didn't want to leave. She had already made up her mind, and she was staying here with Subaru no matter what. Still.
Why is she staying here with Subaru? What? She still cares about Subaru?
Ice pierces clean through his abdomen, making him cough
Oh,
up blood
shit.
and fall to his knees. Both Reinhardt and Amelia were shocked.
Is that Puck?
What just occurred. Reinhardt was supposed to have divine protections that should have blocked the attack, but because Amelia did it unconsciously, Reinhardt's blessings couldn't detect it. Yes.
What? What? What the hell? Wait. Repeat what you just said?
Amelia did it unconsciously. Reinhardt's blessings couldn't detect it.
Wait, what? So if you do an attack unconsciously, you can kill Reinhardt? Is that simple? That's ridiculous. I mean, we have seen Amelia use this power on Pandora. She was using it unconsciously, and she was quite literally bodying Pandora, speed blitzing her, killing her instantly with her ice. Amelia is a demon on the low, man. I'm telling you. Amelia is hiding a lot of things. Or she's not, I wouldn't say she's consciously hiding it, but Amelia got something, man. Her ice magic's different. It's not no normal ice magic. Crazy, though. Crazy. So Reinhardt's blessings couldn't detect it. That's interesting. That's an interesting fact. So if you're not conscious of your attacks, you can go past people's blessings.
Yes, Amelia unconsciously created an ice sword and stuck it through Reinhardt.
What the?
Realizing this, Amelia started to understand. It was because Reinhardt's existence was a threat to Subaru, so stabbing Reinhardt was her unconscious mind attempting to protect Subaru.
Oh, shit.
Please, Reinhardt, leave Subaru alone, Amelia says, to which Reinhardt replies, that is not possible. Realizing she has no choice but to fight the Sword Saint, Amelia calls for Puck to help her out. Puck appears and unleashes a gust of wind that freezes the air, forcing Reinhardt to jump backwards. With one last attempt at negotiation, Reinhardt informs Amelia that Subaru had been responsible for over 126,000 deaths.
Damn.
Amelia wasn't aware of any of this, but it didn't matter. She wasn't going to give up on Subaru no matter what. Reinhardt stayed.
You hear he killed 126,000 people. You're not giving up on Subaru no matter what? What? Nah. That's kind of weird. That's kind of stupid. I'm not even gonna lie. That's kind of dumb. Come on, Amelia. Come on.
Dan's and gives
He
his
killed 100,000 people.
and then Amelia gives hers as well. The Witch of Glaciation,
The Witch of
Beast the
Glaciation.
Apocalypse, and the Sword Saint began their battle, and the uppermost floor of Pandemonium was destroyed by a white shockwave. As Subaru runs through the collapsing mansion, he's attacked by Frederica, but Hannibal shoves her against the wall with such force that it breaks her arm.
Oh,
Subaru
shit.
decides to spare her life, and he dismisses Hannibal as well. It was clear that the Pleiades organization was ending before his eyes, so Subaru encourages Hannibal to leave the castle and continue his life somewhere else. Subaru thanks him and says goodbye, and then continues through the mansion on his own. Suddenly, he hears Amelia's voice, which confuses him as she was supposed to be locked in her room on
What
the
the?
opposite side of the building. At this point, it's unclear what happened with Puck and Reinhardt, but Amelia is still alive with minimal injuries. She runs up and hugs Subaru and begs him to run away with her. She explains that she did
What in the
resent him
hell?
first for what he did to her, but it didn't matter anymore. Even after she learned of all the evil acts he committed as the Purge King, Amelia had forgiven him for all of it. And something about that made Subaru distrust her.
What the?
Anyone forgive him for all of the horrible things he's done? It's impossible, he thought. Subaru shoves her across the hallway.
Oh my god, this is where it's going? So she says she's gonna stay with you. I forgive you, but he just decides to probably kill her because he doesn't believe it. Which I understand. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know how Amelia, why she's saying she forgives him. What?
All his other thoughts disappeared, and everything in his head was suddenly replaced with fear. As Subaru watches in horror, Amelia's color slowly fades to gray. He starts to scream in agony as Amelia's silver hair and amethyst eyes turn to black and white. So this was a detail I chose. Basically, at some point early on in the story, Subaru lost the ability to see color. Everything was black and white except for a few people. Remember what he says to Beatrice before he kills her? With all those colors you wear, you are very pretty, you know. Beatrice was one of the only
that's interesting.
that still had color for Subaru. Everything
I
else
see.
that was black and white, he considered alive. Even Hannibal and Cecilus were black and white. Reinhardt he expected to at least have a hint of, well, they were all fake to Subaru.
Wow.
The only people that still had their color were Beatrice and Amelia. Subaru killed Beatrice, and now Amelia had just lost her color. So now the entire world was black and white for Subaru. Well, almost the entire world. There was one person that still had their color.
Who?
One last opportunity for Subaru to see something
Satella.
in black and white. One last thing
Satella.
Subaru could trust. So Subaru leaves Amelia behind and starts running through the building. He was running to the one person he could still trust. The
Wait,
only
what?
person he had left. It felt like he was drowning, and they were the only thing he could grab onto. Subaru finally reaches his personal office. This room was just about as heavily guarded as Amelia's room, and that was because it contained something just as important. The office had a secret room attached. Behind the bookshelf, there was a door that could only be opened.
Okay, who's he gonna see? What?
He slowly
Interesting.
presses it open. Behind the door rings the sound of chains.
Oh. Ram. Wait, no, Ram's dead. What am I on? Wait, Ram died. What am I saying? Wait, what? Who could this be? Wait, what? Is it Ram?
Wall. Then he saw it. Her eyes were the color of blood. Are you ready to die,
Oh, Ram.
Barusu? The pink-haired woman, with hatred in her eyes, looked up at Subaru and smiled. The end. So the maid's
Oh,
Subaru
so it's
and
Ram,
the
huh?
Roswaal Mansion ended up traumatizing him, giving him extreme trust issues.
Wait, that's interesting. What the? I'm gonna definitely need a little more context for that ending, but damn. So Ram kills him. He goes to Ram to die? Huh.
Basically ruined his life. He became a monster who the entire world was scared of, but deep down, Subaru was the one who was actually scared. He'd have panic attacks and would often self-harm to calm himself down. Subaru's trust issues eventually led to his vision being limited to black and white. The few people he trusted would retain their color, but eventually, Ram was the only one left. All she had was hatred for Subaru, but in the end, that very hatred was the only thing Subaru could trust. And remember, this was all the result of Subaru not wanting to jump off the cliff and simply restart the loop. Patience is a virtue, and if Subaru had understood that, then he would...
That's a little extreme. Patience is a virtue, jumping off a cliff. Come on, guys. Come on. That's ridiculous. I gotta call it out. That's a little ridiculous. I'm not even gonna lie. So, the path of wrath is just defending yourself. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. All of this because he decided to live.
Importantly, himself. Anyway, there's a lot.
I'm gonna definitely need a little more explanation here.
So I'm gonna start with Cecilus and Howard.
I feel like calling this all wrath is a reach. Like, obviously down the line he starts murdering people, all this, he has anger issues, yes, that's wrath. But like the beginning, the turning point was kind of iffy, I'm not even gonna lie. That's kind of weird. That's kind of, is that really wrath? Like, I need a better explanation.
And Re Zero, who hopefully will one day appear in the main story. Hannibal isn't as as strong as Cecilis, but that's because he's a ninja character. Anywhere you see a shadow, Hannibal could be hiding in it and no one would know.
Oh,
He's
shit.
an excellent assassin, but if you put him out in an open field, he's not going to be as effective as Cecilis would. So how exactly did Subaru manage to recruit two of the strongest characters in
How?
Rezero? Well, at least for Hannibal, it was because of Return by Death. Remember that from an outsider's perspective, Subaru would appear to be either extremely lucky or some kind of genius. Hannibal picked up on this and started noticing Subaru's odd predictions. He appeared to have some sort of gift.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's how he got them.
Didn't really matter. The point was, Hannibal learned to trust and value Subaru's judgment. Now, Cecilis, on the other hand, would consider using Return by Death a cowardly tactic, as he believes that preparation is for the weak. Cecilis had actually been loyal to the Empire the entire time. The
Wait,
Emperor
what?
himself, his name's Vincent. He's actually the one that told Cecilis to go work for Subaru.
Oh.
To put Cecilis's power into perspective, the author actually confirmed that if Reinhardt were to have a fight with the sun, Reinhardt would win. He would win a fight with the sun. And yet, Cecilis was able to inflict pretty significant damage to him. He was able to damage Reinhardt. He was worthy of the Dragon Sword Reed.
If Reinhardt were to have a fight with the sun, he'd win? Wait, what? What the hell? What? Wait, what?
Were to have a fight with the sun, Reinhardt would win. He would win a fight with the sun. And he was able to damage Reinhardt. He was worthy of the dragon. Speaks for how strong Cecilis really is.
Cecilis is crazy, of course. Cecilis is insane. But he's fighting against plot itself. What can Cecilis do against a guy who's literally just built to body anyone? Reinhardt's literally just built to win. He's built to win every fight. He's just that character that's gonna stay top one. This man is crazy. I'm impressed.
Reinhardt still defeated him.
Cecilis is crazy too, though.
Stabbed by Amelia. Now that was weird.
Wait, that's interesting. Wait, if Reinhardt could beat the sun, but Amelia's able to injure him, subconsciously Amelia's actually... Amelia may have the potential to be as strong as Reinhardt or stronger if she taps into that subconscious ice ability.
Amelia stabbed Reinhardt. Because Amelia wasn't consciously aware of her actions, Reinhardt's divine protections couldn't stop her attack. This was the first time we've ever heard of a
what is this
that Reinhardt might have. And just for anyone that was wondering, it was never stated whether or not Amelia and Puck were worthy of the Dragon Sword. It was Cecilis that was worthy, and Reinhardt just never put it back away after he drew it. So that's why he was able to use it against Puck and Amelia, which, by the way, the conclusion of that fight isn't known either.
Interesting.
Amelia survived. I'm assuming that Amelia let
Interesting. Wait, so is Amelia that strong? Yo, interesting. So Reinhardt couldn't actually kill them. We know Puck's gonna die. Reinhardt can kill Puck.
Reinhardt alone while she went to look for Subaru, but who knows? Maybe they killed him. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think.
That is
Personal
interesting.
guess is that Reinhardt won, but that's just me. Another thing, Amelia was referred to as the Witch of Glaciation, and I do think that title is very badass, but I don't think it really means anything. It probably wasn't referring to Amelia as one of the literal witches of sin.
Obviously not.
Obviously, ice isn't a sin, so let's not get too excited about that. The last part I want to talk about is the ending. We kind of got left with a cliffhanger, but I think it's obvious that Ram ends up killing Subaru. Now what happens after that, we can only speculate. Does Subaru die a permanent death, or does he use Return by Death? And if so, where does he return to? My guess is that he does die a permanent death, but I would like to...
I think he goes to the Shadow Garden.
I do read all
Just like in the Pride story.
Really enjoyed this If story. It's been so
Probably
long
doesn't
since
come
I
back.
read Oboreru the first time. I think I forgot how good it actually was.
This was really good.
The characters were amazing. We got some nice world building and a bunch of interesting information.
Yeah.
The story itself was very well written, especially in terms of thematic significance. And once again, guys, the only way to get the full experience would be to read the story yourself. a lot of details were left out from this video, and
I
if
see.
I narrated the actual story word for word, this video would have been several hours long.
Oh
At the
shit.
moment, I'd say this is probably my second or third favorite If story, and I honestly can't decide which one I should cover next, so if you guys want to help me out with that, then you can leave me a comment below.
Interesting.
I hope everyone enjoyed the video.
This was
Make
good.
sure you give it a like if you did.
I enjoyed
Most
it.
importantly,
Yes, sir. Echidnut back with another band. That was great. That was actually fire. A lot of interesting things. So we do know that there is a way to get around Reinhardt's divine protection if you attack him subconsciously, which is just ridiculous. And then the little information that he can fight the sun. What are we talking about anymore? Like, he can fight the sun? Crazy, man. Just crazy. But yeah, that's the end of this If story reaction. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna be the end of this video. Which one am I doing next? I think it's Sloth. And I think that's the last one because I'm on Arc 5 still. And I don't want to get spoiled. So, as always, people, have an awesome day. Just the hero is out. Also, feel free to comment your thoughts and opinions down below.